Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we'll be going from the 11th of February up until the 17th, and after last week being a bit of a slow week, this week looks as if it's starting to ramp things up again. So which games are coming out for the Switch this week? Well, let's find out. Let's start with some of the games recently released on Switch by the sponsor of today's video, GBA Games. One that I've been playing a bit of lately is PID, which is a puzzle platformer which can be played in either single or local co-op, and you'll need to traverse a number of environments, overcoming environmental hazards and enemies by using the light beams that you can drop onto the surface. These beams will elevate anything in their path, including you, and you'll need to use them in order to move on through the world. As well as this, you have sports and fun, swimming, which is an exercise based game in which you'll need to set yourself daily targets to meet in terms of how far you can swim, and then pick up your joycons and get to it. Little Mouse's Encyclopedia is a game we've mentioned before, and it's an interactive encyclopedia for children based around plants and animals. They'll guide Mouse around a number of environments, interacting with the flora and fauna and learning about them along the way. Finally, there are a couple of more app-based games in AAA Clock 2, which as well as acting as a customizable alarm clock, also includes a run and gun game based on the clock's characters and new operating system which acts as a basic OS, allowing you to write notes, paint, use a calculator and take on some puzzles. Some of these games are currently on a heavy 90% sale, so it's a good time to check them out, and just thanks once again to GBA Games for sponsoring this episode. So I'm going to stick a quick edit in here before we look at the week at hand, because of course there was a Nintendo Direct between me making this video and it releasing, and in terms of games that are now already out, the big one of course is Metroid Prime Remastered. Now I first played Metroid Prime back in the day on the GameCube, as I'm sure many people did, and it was such a departure from the series at that point so far, moving of course into the first person shooter genre, and it was a wonderful surprise to see this remastered version drop straight after that Direct. I know it had been rumoured that it was in the works, but to see it released straight away was lovely, and it'll be nice for a new generation of players to play this particular game, especially with the fourth game at some point hopefully on the horizon. It has revamped graphics, sound, unlockable art and updated control schemes, and it's selling for £34.99 or your regional equivalent. As well as that, of course, there was the announcement that Gameboy Games and Game Boy Advance games would be coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service. I think it's Game Boy games for the standard package and Advance games for the higher tier. And along with the Pikmin 4 release date, this was actually my highlight of the Direct. I'm a huge fan of the original Game Boy, and some of my favourite games from that handheld have actually already been released on the service. You've got Super Mario Land 2 of course, Link's Awakening, the DX version, and Gargoyle's Quest, which was a fantastic game that I had back in the day. I remember buying it completely on a whim, just seeing that green gargoyle on the front cover of the box, and what an amazing game it was. I look forward to more games being released for both services as time goes on. The first of this week's games then is called Souls of Chronos. This calls itself a mix of classic RPG with an action combat system, and is set 15 years after a catastrophic event known as the Apocalypse. Nice and original there, I see. The world has split itself into factions, and a chance encounter between a boy who is under the threat of death and a girl who wields a special power called Chrono sets the events of the game in motion. It promises classic RPG action along with dialogue choices that affect the story, and a wide array of side quests to undertake which will get you upgrades for your weapons. It has an interesting chibi hand-drawn style mixed with manga style portraits, and is selling for £17.09 when it releases on the 13th. Then we have Blanc, which describes itself as an emotional journey telling the tale of a wolf cub and a fawn lost together in a snowstorm. The blurb mentions how the world itself was drawn on paper before being animated in 3D, and it has a lovely black and white look to it. Each of the two animals has its own strengths, and using both of them is the only way that you will make your way through the snowy landscapes. You can also play in 2-player, both online or locally, and I do really like these environmental puzzle games where each character has strengths that need to be utilised, and this one most certainly looks charming. It's out on the 14th and will cost £13.49 or your regional equivalent.
Blanc is a text-free adventure for two people to play together in co-op on the same couch or from far away with online play. Join two friends for one.
Also this week we have Elderand, an action platformer with some RPG elements. It says here that you'll wield a variety of killing instruments and abilities as you test your mettle against towering, bone-chilling bosses and explore a Lovecraftian world shrouded in darkness. There is Metroidvania-like exploration and a gothic aesthetic as you make your way through the handcrafted levels, and the RPG elements will let you customise your experience to best suit your playstyle in terms of your character stats, skills and weapons. You can collect loot by exploring or from fallen enemies and then use this to upgrade your gear, and there are more than 60 enemy types and over a dozen bosses to take on. This one is published by GBA Games and it releases on the 15th. The next release is Verdict Guilty, which is a fighting game made in the spirit of 90s arcade games. The city of Neo Seoul has been hit with a wave of terrorist and crime attacks, with only a few good officers remaining who are willing to battle this new evil. You get to choose your side, then battle your way to unmask the evil syndicate crime lord himself. Personally, I don't really like the art style or the blue tint that seems to adorn this one. It might just be my nostalgia for the actual arcade games of the 90s, but they were at their best in my opinion when they had huge, colourful and chunky sprites for their characters. But if this looks interesting to you, it's out on the 15th for £8.09. Then we have Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, which I believe is the third in this particular series after 2 releases on the 3DS. This is a rhythm game based on the music from the Final Fantasy series, with tracks from 46 different games included, some of these being Final Fantasy 1 through to 15, the remakes, spin-offs and the music from soundtrack CDs. There is online multiplayer for up to 4 players, 104 characters to choose from as the battles play out as you successfully complete each button prompt, and there are music, player and theatre modes that allow you to enjoy the music outside of playing the game. I own the other 2 Theatrhythm games on the 3DS and I really do enjoy them, they're very good games. They are such a collection of great music and I was very happy actually to see this new Switch version announced. It's out on the 16th and it will cost £49.99 or your regional equivalent, and there is also a demo available if you want to try it first. Next is Dust and Neon, which goes bold and calls itself a best-in-class twin-stick roguelite shooter. It's set in a post-apocalyptic Wild West and you play as a mysterious gunslinger as he embarks upon an epic quest filled with twitch, trigger, precision gunplay according to the blurb. It warns the player that this is not an easy game and that you'll need to be up for a robust challenge as you dive, slide and take automatic cover against the onslaught of mechanical menaces. There are 2,000 weapons and 1,600 tonics to change or enhance your abilities and a 10-hour campaign to attempt. Sounds very good to be fair, and it will cost £24.99 when it releases on the 16th. The next release is Lucie's Potager, which is a shopkeeping RPG. It's a shop simulation game based around plants as you must help Lucie set up her own shop, but before this you will be foraging, growing and harvesting as well as crafting materials to help you achieve your dream. Time management plays a big part and each season brings new plants to grow and sell, and you'll need to learn trends to maximise your profits, and you can even use the plants you grow to branch out into other items to sell such as food, cosmetics and more. It has a very simple art style judging by the trailer, so it'll be interesting to see how deep its mechanics go. It's out on the 16th and it will cost £16.75. Following on from that is Tales of Symphonia Remastered, which as the title implies is a remaster of Tales of Symphonia, which first released for the GameCube back in 2003. I believe this was the 5th entry in the well-loved Tales series when it originally released, and it was very well received back then. It's an action RPG set in the world of Elderand, which is in danger of extinction due to the exploitation of mana by an evil group. The blurb doesn't really specify exactly what the remaster version entails other than that it's in full HD, but I'm sure that it is one that will be in high demand when it releases on the 17th. It will cost £35.99 or your regional equivalent.
Victory.
Just like the way you saved me.
The enemy never gives up, so properly take care of yourself. Use the optimal option to quickly equip your party for battle.
No way!
The penultimate game for the week is Labyrinth of Galleria, The Moon Society. I believe this is a dungeon crawler RPG which is published by NIS America. It promises over 50 hours of gameplay as you search for treasure within the labyrinth, and I have to say I've never really played many first-person dungeon crawlers, at least not since the days of the Super Nintendo, or the original Phantasy Star actually is another one that I did play. This is also out on the 17th though, if it is one that interests you. And finally for the week we have Rooftop Renegade, an action platformer all about speed and flow. You need to evade capture through futuristic skyscrapers, channeling powerful abilities from your hoverblades. You'll boost through levels under constant bombardment, avoiding dangerous hazards and making split-second decisions. Aside from this, there is an asymmetric multiplayer mode for up to 4 players, where 3 of you try to disrupt the other on their run before someone else takes their turn. This one will cost £15.79 and again it is out on the 17th. So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. Do any of these games interest you at all? Will you be picking any of them up? Please do let us know in the comment section below. Again, as I've said in a couple of videos this week, I'm just at the tail end of a nasty cold, so apologies if you can hear it in my voice. I'm sure by next week it will all be gone and I'll be back to normal. But thank you for bearing with me this week, very much appreciated. Don't forget, if you are looking to get yourself any eShop credit, you can get your eShop cards from our website, switchup.gg. If you use the code SwitchUp, you can get yourself 5% off of your order. All the links are in the description, and doing so really does help the channel out. So thank you very much if you are one of the people that does so. There's also a link down there to Play Asia if you want to get yourself any import games. Again, use the link, use the code stated, and you can get yourself 5% off of an order from there too. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and as always, happy gaming.